Alright, ladies and gents, welcome to Wednesday the 7th of October. At the moment it's a lovely dry day. Well, it's looking a bit black over there, but can't always help that. So, I was watching Farmer P this morning. He was out hedge cutting with his tractor and hedge cutter, and I thought I'd throw my 2p's with him as well. Because funnily enough, our neighbour just over there, he's got his Massey parked up. I don't know if you'll see it through there, but Massey parked up with edge cutter on, and he's doing our lane, well, his part of the lane, trimming it all back. For people that don't know, I've been doing domestic tree work, a bit like Farmer P, but I'm obviously not as good as him. So I've been doing tree work for 10-15 years now. I've been out landscaping, and obviously I've been working here as well, so I've got a bit of an all-round, well, I'd hope a bit of an all-round knowledge by now, but sometimes it's probably lacking. But I was making points on the hedge cutting and saying how people had been saying that you shouldn't be doing it and it's bad for the hedges and the wildlife and everything else. Well, I thought I'd just throw my 2p's in, because we have the same kind of thing. I've had it in the past where people have complained about hedge cutting and destroying everything else. So for the regulars, you'll know that the caravan site is just over there, and I've planted a hedge all the way down that span, and then the returns, and also done down the bottom of the deer park, which is just over the other side of that coppice and these trees, and also a load down by our far rings. In fact, we planted 11 trees down the far rings as well. I prefer to see a good hedge. The reason we put hedges in is to get rid of the fencing. So for me, the priority is a hedge has to work, and to be fair, I think most farmers would probably feel that way as well. We don't just put them in just because we want to. You also have to have another benefit, which is usually keeping animals in, cattle, sheep, in our case, them bloody things. So the reason we put them in is fencing is getting expensive, because we do post and rail. It's time consuming, especially the way we do it, because there's lots of stone around here, well, cobble should I say, and because the horses decide to eat it, a bit like that. And before you start, no, we're not going to electric fence it, because we have miles of the damn stuff, and no, we're not going to creosote it because it's liveries, and that also goes for the electrics as well, because the horses get wrapped up in the electrics. We've had it before. So yeah, I've decided that we're going to try and ring fence the whole estate in hedging. So these are all little whips that were planted and have been growing for the last 5, 6, 7 years now. If we go have a look at them, you'll see what a job they made. So to me, the benefits of having a smaller hedge like this that's tight and useful, yes, it keeps animals in. I also find it's better for the wildlife. Now this hedge has had birds in it, have been nesting in there while we've had caravanners and dogs and kids and cars and everything else shunting around on this site. The reason being is that these are real tight hedges, as in things can't get into there quite so easily. We have a lot of sparrowhawks, kestrels, buzzards and kites, which I know won't usually take anything on the wing, but the sparrowhawks will, and the kestrels will just grab them on the run. But this actually protects them. The big bird won't get into there very quickly. It just gives the little birds, half a second maybe to get out of the way. Whereas behind me, trying to turn the other way for some, we have some of our older hedging. Now this is some of the original hedging. It's probably 60, 70, 80 years old. Down the fence line there is actually some of the old estate fencing down there, which is oak, railed and post, and this hedge line goes all the way up there and across, and then that big beech hedge should actually be a hedge, but they lost control of it about 30-40 years ago. So yeah, these are what we've been doing. So in the last few years I've been trying to get the flail lad down to cut them back. You can see the up to the boundary line now, so that I can actually work the field better, because these limbs were right over the top of here, would have been right over the top of Muckheap, and I can't control the field as well. But you also find that on the older trees they start dying off. Granted, there's an elderberry in a row in there, but there's principles there, because we have over here a hawthorn that's got to the age where it's died off, split out, and it's actually landed on the fence. So trimming them back with a hedge cutter, or at least starting them from when they're young as well, actually promotes growth. You can see on that one how thick it's actually becoming now, after we've trimmed it, and it's put a foot on there, 18 inches of growth in last year. So we'll actually promote growth cutting hedges. It'll also make them last longer. As I say, I'd expect that hedge to be there in 100 years time, whereas an individual tree, I think it'll be struggling. Also the wildlife front, yeah, there'll be lots of berries at the top where the hedge cutter can't get, but you can solve that by not cutting the whole estate in one go, or the whole farm in one go, or not cutting it as tight. You can leave 6-8 inches for the old wood to produce fruit on it. But if you look at these, there's only one nest in it, which is up there, which I think is actually a squirrel's stray. It could be a magpie's or something, but you only find that in the big trees, the big animals that live in there, the little stuff they need to help, like the songbirds, want smaller spaces to be able to cram themselves into, so they don't get disturbed by predators. So yeah, it's an interesting topic, and I think that how the agricultural industry is going at the moment, we're trying to educate people and explain why we do things. We've already done it with meat production, doing it with vegetables, and I think it's probably time to start expanding it to stuff like this, that people see a hedge cutter going out, cutting hedges, supposedly destroying them, where in reality probably doing quite the opposite. Anyway, I'm sure most of you probably do it anyway, so you probably know, but I'd love to hear what you guys think of it as well. Let's say Farmer P's done his bit this morning, or yesterday. I'll try and put a link in the bottom to his video. He probably explains it a lot better than I do anyway, but yeah, I'd love to hear what everybody else thinks and what they do. And yeah, I'm still learning as well, so we'll see what comes of it. Right, I better go do some work, proper work. So I should catch you later. Cheers guys, bye.